What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol SAVA for Cassava Sciences. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. Now, we haven't talked about this one in quite some time since the gap down and then some more development to the downside here, but the newest and latest and greatest is, of course, the increase in volume and volatility that we saw on Friday's trading session. So clearly, we can see this through the 30-minute perspective that we saw a, pretty much relentless sell-off here until the end of the day where there was a small dead cat bounce. But what this brings me to is, where did the back test go to, right? What were we back testing in the first place, right? And that was clearly this area of support in here around 51 the whole dollar, we'll call it for round number 6. So the fact that we printed a small upper wick off of that, the fact that we, in the after hours session, you can see up here that we are technically trading 49.20 by 49.30, we're back down in this range. So it's not like in the after hours we just recaptured it, moved to the top of the range here at 58.16. No, it's still backing off here. So this does strike me as a critical breakdown. The other thing is that we're breaking down and starting to fail underneath the 200 SMA from the daily perspective. As we know, the 200 SMA is kind of like the grandfather of all SMAs. If it was going to have a bounce here, and again, we talked about that first touch, it should have bounced and then moved higher, right? But it didn't do that. Instead, it's consolidating just above, and on Friday's session, it broke down underneath and closed underneath, even on this little back test, which we just discussed earlier on in today's video. So all things considered, this move is looking fairly weak. Now, there have been some catalysts here, obviously the allegations against their science and the CEO speaking back, so on and so forth, but the technicals don't lie here. Also, the fact that the 38.2 is slightly above that number there at 51, as we know, the bottom end of the range, it just strikes me as bearish if we see any further consolidation underneath the range, and more importantly, underneath that 38.2. We'll clean that back up. We just know that the chart's weak off the bat. So on any downside activity, right, what are we looking at as potential areas of support underneath? The next major one that I'm seeing would be way down here at 36.15. Again, I'm not calling for that all in one day, all in one week, but that is, from a structural perspective, the next major area where buyers could potentially step in. Obviously, we would first have to see a break of Friday's low. This is a Saturday I'm recording, of course, and you can see that that low is here at 46.60. So my outlook, not so bullish inside of SAVA. If you're someone who wants to be a long player here, you really got to be patient and see if we can make it down into 36.15, or potentially if we see a look below and fail, right? This is the flip side of the coin. If this is a look below and fail, and early on in next week, so it would have to be on Tuesday per se, we recapture 51, look below and fail would say that the top end of the range is the target at 58.16. So those are the two scenarios to really watch out for, right? Look below and fail, and or short play to come into 36, or waiting to see if we see buyers step in at that area for a dead cat bounce out of it. As things sit, I'm not entirely sure which one will happen yet, but based on the post-market, sort of favoring the downside outcome, right? So all things considered, that's going to wrap up the video here on SAVA, Cassava Sciences. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new, let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.